Exploring USA's dominance in nuclear energy. Did you know that the United States has more nuclear power plants than any other country in the world? In this video, we take a closer look at America's dominance in nuclear power. Keep watching as we explore the reasons behind this supremacy, the fascinating world of nuclear power, and the role each state plays in it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons for your weekly dose of science. How does nuclear energy work? Simply put, nuclear energy comes from the nucleus, or central core, of an atom. All nuclear power plants use nuclear fission, the splitting of the atom's central core, to create energy. For nuclear power plants, energy is generated from the fission, splitting, of an isotope of uranium. This nuclear reaction releases heat and energy. This heat is then used to create steam, the steam turns turbines, and the turbines produce electricity for cities throughout America. What does this mean for your state? By the beginning of 2023, the United States had 92 operating commercial nuclear reactors at 53 nuclear power plants in 28 states. The average age of these nuclear reactors is about 40 years old. The oldest operating reactor, 9 Mile Point Unit 1 in New York, began commercial operation in December 1969. The newest reactor to enter service, Vogtle Unit 3 in Georgia, reached initial criticality in March 2023. Not only does the United States have more nuclear power reactors than any country in the world, but also generates more nuclear electricity than any other. Annually, the total generating capacity is over 97,000 megawatts. These reactors operate 92.7% capacity, generate nearly 20% of the country's annual electricity, and provide over 400,000 jobs. The states leading the country in nuclear power are: Illinois, 11 nuclear power plants generate 54% of its electricity. Pennsylvania, 9 nuclear power plants generate 36% of its electricity. South Carolina, 7 nuclear power plants generate 56% of its electricity. Alabama, 5 nuclear power plants generate 31% of its electricity. North Carolina, 5 nuclear power plants generate 31% of its electricity. Florida, 4 nuclear power plants generate only 12% of its electricity. Georgia, 4 nuclear power plants generate 27% of its electricity. Michigan, 4 nuclear power plants generate 30% of its electricity. New York, 4 nuclear power plants generate 34% of its electricity. Tennessee, with 4 nuclear power plants generating 44% of its electricity. Texas, 4 nuclear power plants generate only 8% of its electricity. Virginia, 4 nuclear power plants generate 30% of its electricity. Connecticut, only 2 nuclear power plants generate 42% of its electricity. Maryland, only 2 nuclear power plants generate 38% of its electricity. New Jersey, only 2 nuclear power plants generate 37% of its electricity. New Hampshire, only 1 nuclear power plant generates 61% of its electricity. Next-generation reactors. The first generation of nuclear reactors was developed in the 1950s and were all shut down by 2015. Generation 2 reactors were built until the end of the 1990s. Most nuclear power plants in operation today are Generation 2 reactors. Over 100 new advanced reactors, Generation 3 and 3+, are being planned around the world. Many of the next-generation nuclear reactor designs are in advanced planning stages, under construction, or being researched in North America, Europe, Japan, Russia, and China. The youngest reactors in America are Vogtle Units 3 and 4 in Georgia. Vogtle Units 3 and 4 are the first deployment of the AP1000 Generation 3+ reactor. The AP1000 was designed as the next-generation nuclear reactor that could provide a standardized design for the utilities market. Check out our video on advanced nuclear technologies for more detail. Reasons for USA's nuclear supremacy. One reason is that the U.S. has a large population and a high demand for electricity. Nuclear power plants provide a reliable and efficient source of electricity, especially during peak demand periods. The U.S. has invested heavily in nuclear power technology and has become a leader in the field. Despite the benefits of nuclear energy, there are also concerns about safety and the disposal of nuclear waste. However, the U.S. has implemented strict safety regulations and has developed advanced methods for storing and disposing of nuclear waste. Overall, the U.S.'s dominance in nuclear power plants is a result of its high demand for electricity, long history of nuclear energy development, and commitment to safety and waste management. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe to stay informed.
Click subscribe, click like. Thanks for watching. Nerds Unite.